I want to thank you for your time, for coming. I know we've been speaking for a little bit now. I think we spoke. Did we speak earlier or yesterday? I can't keep up.
Yes, yesterday we spoke, and
Yeah.
same right back at you. Thank you very much for your time and your consideration in, like I've said before, my rather presumptuous request of being able to come onto your channel and host someone who has a different perspective on this topic than what you do.
Right. 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 No, dude. Listen, I took the opportunity because again, you know how many comments I get a day. I get so many comments like on all platforms, and like I told you briefly, there's like you're more respectful than some quote unquote Christians that have that have disagreed with my position, and they just have to be super disrespectful, and it's like it's crazy. So, but anyways, again, thank you. If you want to take a moment and just share your position, share your stance, and yeah.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, thank you. Like I said again for giving me the chance to do this. So I am an agnostic atheist. And what I mean by that is I am 100% agnostic and I am 100% atheist because they ask two different questions. One asks knowledge of, and one asks belief in. I do not have knowledge for or against the premise of the existence of a deity, any deity, and I also hold no current, and I think current is the key word because I'm absolutely subject to change, but I hold no current theological belief in the God of the Bible or the God of any modern religion or ancient religion.
Okay. That was well said.
Thank you.
I think I might have told you this on the phone, but I want to share with you that this is a very interesting position. I've never met anyone who, because it's very specific. Like,
Yeah.
it's specific in both atheist and agnostic. It's you're specific in both. You have your reasons why. Some people are just like, I'm an atheist, I don't believe in nothing, or I don't know if anything exists, so screw it. And that's it. There's no and you also, correct me if I'm wrong, you did share with me that you've read the Bible twice.
Yes, I've read the Bible twice, cover to cover. I've also read the Quran, and I've also read the Hindu holy texts as well.
Okay. And let me tell you, I respect that you've done that, because there's a lot of people that will speak against um speak against Christianity and has never read the scriptures at all, at least because I forgot who said it, but somebody said this. I think it was Cliff.
I know what you're
I f-
talking about. The
yeah.
apologetics? Yeah.
Yes, he's actually we actually go to his church. So I just met him not too long ago.
Oh,
So
okay. I've
yeah,
commented on his videos more than once.
yeah, he's been doing it for like 40 years, man.
Oh yeah, dude,
So
he's got some experience.
yeah, yeah. So him and his son, they're pretty cool. So I think he said something before that said any respectable skeptic has at least read, read whatever they have an issue with. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
like
saying?
why wouldn't you want to be educated on the topic that you disagree with? How could you possibly present a coherent argument if you're not educated on it?
Right. 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 And this is another reason why I was super um what do you call it? Like, excited to hear your position and to get to know you, because there was a point in my life where I didn't believe. And there's certain things in life that led me to not believe. And then, I had my own transformation and led me to where I'm at today. Everybody has a different story. So I get intrigued to hear like why people stand on what they stand on. You know what I'm saying? So thank you for sharing
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, yeah. Do you want me to like elaborate a little bit on why I hold the position that I hold?
Sure. Yeah, dude.
Okay. So um I'm a proponent of the use of the scientific method to understand the natural universe around us. Um, Part of that would be what would be observable, demonstratable, repeatable, testable evidence, and like that's how we come up with the cell phone that I'm talking on right now, that's because of the scientific method. Modern day medicine is because of the scientific method. In my current position, I have been yet to be presented with evidence that would meet that criteria for the existence of the God of the Bible or any God. So one, if that evidence were presented to me, I would change my stance immediately. But until then, I don't see a reason to believe in something without evidence suggesting that it's real, that meets that standard or criteria.
Okay. Okay. I totally respect that. Um, and that's interesting because and I'm not gonna lie to you. I love the fact that you're even open to saying if there's an evidence that will change my mind, I will change my mind.
Yeah, I
Right.
would think most atheists are hold that same position as I do. I don't know if you saw the Ken Ham Bill Nye debate on YouTube a little while back. If you haven't, I would watch it. It's really interesting.
Mm,
Right at the end of that debate, the question that the moderator asked both of them, I think they asked Bill Nye first, but I could be wrong. Was what would change your mind? And his answer was one word: evidence. Evidence would change my mind. And when asked to Ken Ham the exact same question, he said nothing. Like nothing would change his mind. And
right.
I think that's an intellectually dishonest position for Ken
Right.
Ham to hold. Because
Right.
if Vishnu, the one of the gods of Hinduism, came down in the middle of the Super Bowl, or in the middle of the halftime show of the Super Bowl next year, and was demonstrated to be Vishnu, well, I mean, I would believe in Vishnu. Like I
Okay.
would accept that Vishnu exists, but that's an open position, I think.
Okay. Yeah. I totally I get it. But there is a lot of people. I've known a couple of atheists and I had a couple friends that just didn't believe, but it was more.
Can you hear me? I got a phone call that just interrupted that. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I can hear you breaking up a little bit. You good?
Let me see if I can hear. Can you hear me better?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you better now.
Okay, cool.
So, what was I gonna say? Yeah, so I've spoken to a few people, and some people just shut it out. Like they just they don't even want to hear it. They don't want to try. They don't want to at least try to figure it out. So I respect your position in that, in at least saying like, look, if there was some type of evidence, um, then you know, then it would change my mind immediately.
Yeah,
Um, and I don't want us to get into like a whole thing because we have our conversation coming up soon. But this just out of curiosity, right?
sure.
Because I'm not gonna take this time right here to try to flood you with information that could possibly be evidence. Because now I'm excited because I'm like, all right, it is. I have some questions. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
but
I would hope that you would.
yeah, so have you looked into like and see sometimes and I present this way. Like for me, when I study the scriptures, like when I'm studying the scriptures and I like do my I go and I search the Hebrew and the Greek to see the transliteration and to try to start digging deeper, right? Um a lot when I get into that frame of mind, I put on my skeptical shoes. I like to
Right.
say. Like I like to be a skeptic in that moment. And the reason why is because I don't want to soak this information in from a biased position. I want to be completely confident in my skepticism because when I was skeptical before is what led me to be here, right? So,
Okay.
what my question for you is darn it, see I spoke too much cuz now I just threw off my whole thing. What was the last thing that you said? Cuz oh, wait, was it what
I
was it?
think it was if Vishnu came down in the middle of the Super Bowl in the halftime show next year, that and if that was demonstrated to be Vishnu, that I would accept the existence of Vishnu. Now, whether
Okay.
I would want to worship Vishnu, it's a totally separate question, but I would
Yeah.
absolutely accept
Oh,
the existence of Vishnu being real.
right. Okay. So what I was leading up to was to say, have you done research on, like, let's say for example, the Christian faith, like the archaeology that has been brought forth with evidence of like the Dead Sea Scrolls that have tied into no no misrepresentation within the text that we have today, or like archaeology has like brought forth certain biblical things, like where the Red Sea is. Under the Red Sea they found chariots, and they found certain things that the Bible speaks about that took place when when Moses split the sea, essentially. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. So, okay, I don't know if I want to answer that specifically right now, or if you
Yeah, yeah,
want me to save that for our actual debate,
yeah.
because what you just brought up is actually something that I was going to bring up as part of my argument. Towards, like, you know how I mentioned that I wanted to bring up Exodus, the
Right,
story of the Exodus. Yeah, that's
right.
part of it, and I know who
Okay.
you're talking about. You're talking about a I'm gonna air quote this, but you can't see me, but trust me, I'm air quoting the archaeologist Ron Wyatt. That's who.
Okay.
That's who.
Discovered
What
this.
it? Yeah. I don't know how familiar you are with him. I'm rather familiar with him because this is a topic that I've been associated with for going on like 15, 16 years now,
Okay.
and that's evidence that has been put forth to me before. And when you research it a little bit deeper, at least from what I've been able to discover about it, Ron Wyatt is not a reliable source. But
Okay.
I mean, that would be if I were to dive into that any deeper. I think that might possibly be taking away from the debate that we're going to have. I don't really want to do that.
Yeah, right. So we could, I mean, listen, we can save this for a whole other conversation. I was just curious to know, because, and that's one of many things. So I'm gonna honestly, I'm interested now because I'm gonna dive into that. You said his name was Ron Wyatt,
Yeah, Ron Wyatt. Wyatt.
ATT. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So I'm gonna look more into that. I'm just a kind of surface level, like just throwing things to see if these things have came to your to your awareness. But we're gonna save this because this is a whole other interesting topic. Because I have other questions for you regarding that.
I mean, you
Um,
can ask me the questions if you want. I'll answer what I think would be appropriate for here and leave the whole for later. Or if you don't want to ask me, that's also totally fine. I totally respect that reasoning of why you might not want to right now as something to bring up naturally
yeah,
when we have our conversation.
right. Okay, so then I will save it just so we could not take so much time on focusing on that right now. We could definitely save that for the actual debate, you know.
Okay. Would it be
Um
okay if I asked you a question?
sure.
Okay, so when we've talked before, you said, like, one of the questions I asked you was is if you're a biblical literalist or a metaphoricalist or some sort of a combo. You told me that you were a combo, right?
Right.
Okay, so you don't have to answer this now or not. It's totally fine because I would bring this up in the debate as well. What is the specific criteria that needs to be met so that you know that you are interpreting the Bible correctly? And how do you know that it is correctly in comparison to other interpretations that are contradictory towards your interpretation of the Bible?
So, let me unpack the first half of that. So,
Sure.
when it comes down to literal and metaphorical, I believe that the whole Bible is literal, right? But
Okay.
there's metaphorical um dialogue Like, for example, this is
How do you
this
know
is
which one's which?
because so and how I know which one's which is just based off of, like, for example, when Jesus is speaking to the disciples and he speaks in parables to explain certain things, right? But he
Okay.
puts it together like poetically in a sense. And he does that every now and again. So there's certain examples that he would speak metaphorically, but it would mean something literal. You see what I'm
Okay.
saying? So
What?
so that's
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
no, that's fine. So yeah, so that's what I mean. So I feel like uh, uh there's a literal um the things that are trying to get across, whether if it's a historical event, whether if it's the laws, whether if it's um a
Is that the
warning.
literal?
I think that there's literal in each of these things, but there's metaphorical breakdowns, and I think mostly, and I will have more for you when I kind of go through my notes and stuff. But from right now, when I know that when Jesus speaks in parables, um or metaphor, there's metaphorical ways that he spoke to people, and people, like, for example, when he spoke to the Pharisee Nicodemus, and I'm going to paraphrase this, but he was speaking about being born again, right? Being born again spiritually. And
Okay.
Nicodemus was like, what does this mean? I can't go back to my mother's womb, and he's just like, no, it's not born again physically, it's born again spiritually. So when that the whole born again aspect was like a metaphorical explanation, or um
To
example
describe
of,
like welcome to the religion kind of thing, or
or
like
yeah,
welcome to.
yeah, so like
Okay.
introducing the new covenant of what was to come. And then he took that, see, that was a metaphor, but he took that literal. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? So that's pretty much what I mean by that.
All right. Could I expand upon my question just real quick?
Yeah, there was another point though, right?
Oh,
To that, there was like a second half to that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Darn, I'm probably gonna have to rephrase the whole question.
No, that's cool. Go
All
ahead.
right.
And if I forgot the answer, I'll tell you. If not,
All right. Sorry. I normally I don't pick that question up halfway through, so it's kind of hard to remember exactly where to pick up where the second part is. Um, so yeah, to reiterate that it is, um, darn. Basically, how do you know that the specific criteria, um, or what is the specific criteria that needs to be met in order to know that you are interpreting the Bible correctly? And
okay,
how do you know that your specific interpretation of that criteria is correct in comparison to other people that have interpreted the same thing differently? What is the criteria that needs to be met to know that your interpretation is correct and theirs is not?
okay,
Like Kent
that
Hovind, for example.
okay. That's a great question. That's a great question. So
Thank you.
now this is pretty much how I'm going to break this down. So your boy just said you're sola scriptura, right? Yes. Yes, I am.
I
So
have no
what
idea what he said. What did he say?
so sola scriptura is the position. So this is like what makes Protestants and Catholicism different. So sola scriptura is Latin for scripture only. So
Okay, yeah.
which
He knows the
which
Bible better than I do.
okay. So which pretty much is that the ultimate authority of our faith is the Bible.
Okay.
Now, this is not negating or denying other historical texts that that's consistent with biblical history. If it doesn't contradict it, it's not like we've completely rejected. But that the Bible is the ultimate authority of our, it's like the manual to life, it's like the instructions, it's the, all that. So I just wanted to lay that out because your boy did ask that. Now to answer you, um So what makes my interpretation correct versus to someone else's? So
Yeah.
this is how I analyze that in my studies, right? So, and I'm gonna use the divinity of Christ, because if someone's claiming to be a Christian, then but yet denying the divinity, the deity of Christ, then that's contrary to what we believe in, what the scriptures reveal to us, right? So, for example, you mentioned Kent. I forgot his last name, but
Kent Hovind.
yeah. So he's the Christian Science Church guy,
Yeah,
right?
he's Dr. Dino.
Dr. Dino. So, and that's cool because I love dinosaurs. But check this out. Um, if that's what you meant by dino. But
Yeah,
so
yeah.
so check this out. So my position with that is, if a doctrine came years and years and years and centuries later that had to reinterpret what was already written historically, it's probably 99% false compared to what we deem to be what's the truth in scripture. And I'm going to make an example. I'm going to give you an example.
Okay.
So, am I answering your question though as of
I mean,
now?
there isn't a possible way to answer my question wrong. So yeah, you're definitely
Okay.
answering it.
All right,
It's
great.
it's a curiosity question. I'm curious
Yeah.
of
Yeah, absolutely.
what you like, how you think about it.
Right. So, the way I view this is because there's numerous warnings in the scriptures that tell us about false prophets, false teachers, false gospels that will come later on, right? And then there's one that I really love, and I believe is in the Apostle Paul wrote in Galatians, and he says, "If me, if a man or angel presents to you another gospel than what the one you have received here, let him be accursed." So that is so. For example, when we talk about Islam, all right,
Okay.
Islam came 600 years after the ascension of Christ.
Yeah, yeah,
After
give or take.
right, right, give or take 580, 600, around there, between 500 and 600. I'm gonna just say that roughly.
Yeah, yeah,
So
and that was also written over centuries as well. So yeah.
right, right. So what's the biggest claim from Islam? That Muhammad was in a cave and an angel, which they claim to be Angel Gabriel, came to him and gave him pretty much the knowledge of the Quran,
Yeah.
right? So now when I'm like, okay, let's see what that said about 500 years later. Well, it warns us specifically about an angel that would appear and present a false gospel that speaks contrary to what we have now. So that, to me, that's where I judge it. So now if I look at someone like something like the doctrine of the church science Dr. Dino guy, now the way I judge that is like, okay, when did this doctrine start? Oh, the 1800s. So and
That
so, I
sounds like
forgot.
Mormonism.
Well, that's another one. So this is and listen, bro, this is what I want to present to um this is what I want to present to the when it comes down to the position that I hold, right? When I look at every other doctrine, what is every other doctrine say? So Islam says acknowledges Jesus just as a mere prophet, though.
Yeah.
He agrees to certain scripture things, but
Yeah, they
that's
don't
that.
deny the prophethood of Jesus.
Right. They don't deny the prophethood. So let's just name a couple. So we got Islam, we got Mormonism, we got Jehovah's Witness, we have Unitarians, and we have this Dino Doc guy. That those doctrines all have something in common. And what's that? There's a whole bunch of other religions that all deny the same thing, which is the divinity of Christ. Yet Jesus is the only one in the scriptures that don't acknowledge nobody and says, "I'm the way, the truth, and the life, and no one can get to the Father except through me." So to me, that's enough for me to be like, oh, if this was created in the 1900s, that's created in the, you already get my gist. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
saying?
What is
So
it okay? Is oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, so that's pretty
Uh,
much it. Now I'm just also
uh,
reading your boy said Islam calls Jesus the Messiah, not a prophet. They just have a different view um of the Messiah. So
yeah.
and that's true. They have a different view of him, which is why we say that they don't believe in the same Jesus we do. But go ahead, bro.
So okay, so you brought up something that, and well, before I go ahead with this, because I don't want this to take away from our debate. Um, what I'm going to say is going to be giving a little bit of pushback. Are you okay if I give a little bit of pushback, or do you want me to
Yeah,
save it?
no, you could give me a little bit of pushback, and then after that, we'll um we'll kind of start wrapping it up because the time is kind of ticking, and then we'll we'll announce the date, and if people want to tap
Sure,
in, then we'll tap
sure.
in. But go ahead, shoot, bro.
Oh,
That
well,
yeah.
actually, on okay, so this is probably, if this topic gets brought up again, which it very well could. In fact, it probably will.
Mhm.
Um, I might throw out there that what you presented could be interpreted as a no true Scotsman fallacy, because I would argue that the only prerequisite for being a Christian is accepting that Jesus Christ is, or died for our sins.
Right.
Um, as far as I know, they all accept that. Maybe not Islam, but that's not Christianity, so it doesn't really
Right.
matter.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
But they all accept that, and I would think that they would argue just as fervently as you would argue that they are Christians because they accept that prerequisite. But yeah, that's pretty much all the pushback I was going to give right there.
Dude, but that's great. That's great.
Thank you.
And and I want to answer this comment, but I'll get to that after.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
if anybody has any questions to me as well, I would be more than happy to answer any questions that anybody else might have.
all right, cool.
Yeah.
Um, so um what was I? Oh, what was I going to say? Okay, so you're saying about the position, like if they hold a position, have the same argument. So the reason why I stand so firmly on that is again because of what the scriptures reveal. And if someone deems to say that they are a Christian, right, a follower of Christ, and then they're denying what the scriptures have revealed, that's where this discrepancy comes. Because if John 1:1 reveals that Jesus is God and shares that same divine essence as the creator Yahweh, right? That's what John explains. Like in the beginning was the word, and the word was with God, and the word was God. He was in the beginning with God, and that he came and he dwelled with he took on flesh and dwelt among us. So like the word became flesh. So to me, that's clear as day. That's clear as day. And anybody, even Islam, can say, yes, Jesus is considered the word of God. He is the manifestation, the revelation of God. So when it says that he was with God and he was God and he dwelt, he became flesh and dwelt among us, and someone says that they're a Christian, but they deny that part of scripture, then there's a red flag. So that's why I stand firm on that. So now your boy Faithless Devotion and George are kind of having a little back and forth. But I do want to say this real quick to George. Okay, so George wants to ask you a question, but I
Yeah,
want
sure.
to I do want to George, much love and blessings, brother, but I disagree with that. The only KJV is from God. That's not
The
completely true.
KJV is what I've read, by the way. I just
Okay.
wanted to throw that in there.
Well, the thing is that I'm careful with saying that because then anybody else who has reading issues with like how strong like the old English is. Like for me, I studied a lot of my scriptures from the ESV, but I go from translation to translation,
Mm.
because I want to see the differences. But I don't even think there's no errors, because if we go to because he says that I put the comment here, you probably see it. But
I
also
actually I can't see any or well, no,
oh
no, no,
really?
no. Okay, I can. Okay,
Okay.
I'm good.
So all I want to say, brother, to that, which it's fine, because again, not everybody in the body of Christ is gonna agree. But I do want to say that we have to be careful with this, because then someone who wants to learn and doesn't they can't understand, like me, I'm not the best like I wasn't the best reader. KJV, I was like, I'm not trying to read this, thou, that, this. So what they have though is called the interlinear Bible on Bible Hub, and you can read from the Hebrew, the exact transliteration to English. And then they have the Greek, because we know the New Testament was written in Greek, that they have the Greek words and the exact transliteration. So either way, as long as someone's getting the truth of the gospel, it doesn't matter what translation. There is some translations we have to be careful of, but KJV, I mean, to say that only KJV is the final word, I just disagree with that. But George, go ahead. Whatever question you have. He said faith learn about the source, the English doesn't matter. I'm not too sure what he means by that. But
Yeah, I'm not quite sure either. George, I don't know if you can hear me or not. I'm sure that you probably can since you're watching. If you want to, not to hijack your thing here, but if you want to
oh, go ahead.
rewrite that real quick, I will do my best to answer it from my perspective.
Yeah, we'll give him a minute to see who.
Yeah, yeah.
But you was
So,
asking
well,
him.
while he's doing this,
Yeah.
would you want to take this time to maybe like, uh, we could announce that thing that we agreed upon, announcing beforehand before the thing about the our arguments not being personal attacks in any way.
Right, right. So we're making this very clear. I'll give my position, and you can share yours.
Sure. Yeah. Oh, yeah,
We
yeah, yeah. We should do that.
we have agreed that we're not attacking the persons. Like we actually, I feel like we are like becoming friends. Like, dude, you're super cool.
Thank you.
um
Same
yeah,
to
yeah.
you.
And like, I feel like we could talk. We talked all the time. Like, it's funny because I was like, okay, let's have a brief conversation real quick yesterday, and then we were on the phone for almost an hour.
Yeah,
you
I
know
know. It was like, dude, it was over 50 minutes.
yes, for sure. um but yeah, so yeah, I just, so this is, we are giving pushback on each other's stance, not
Yep.
not a personal attack on each other. So we agreed to that. If you want to share your piece, you can, bro.
Sure. Yeah, just to second that, in no way, shape, or form is anything that I say an attack against Derek. There's no way that that's something that would be insulting to him, and that is the last thing that I want to do is insult him. He's absolutely right. Uh, we've gotten along great, and I definitely think that we're becoming friends. And even if we disagree on this topic, 95% of the rest of the world, I guarantee we agree on. So, like, this shouldn't be something that separates us just because we disagree on the existence of a deity. But also that I'm I'm going to express my position as clearly and concisely and to the best that I can because I respect him. He deserves my honest opinion on it because he's a full grown man, right? Like, there's no reason to sugarcoat anything.
Right.
Um, and since we since we agree to disagree to begin with, no matter what is said, I would definitely harbor no ill will in any way, and I would imagine that Derek would completely agree with me in every way.
Yes, I agree 1000%, dude. There's this is, and I've say this all the time, because this could be a lot of uh what do you call it, misunderstanding with like apologetics or debates. Like, it's like, oh, they hate each other, and it's just, no, it's not that. We are
Yeah.
just having these hard conversations that a lot of people don't know how to have respectfully, and that's
Yep.
what we're doing. you
Trying to
know
break the taboo of this topic.
right, right. And again, dude, thank you for even commenting, and you know um presenting the idea, because I personally would have. I mean, I know I would have came across an atheist or an agnostic at some point, but I was like, if you watch the beginning of my channel, the first video I made was literally breaking down the difference between what biblical Christianity is, and then like another doctrine that was formed later, and showing the differences between that. So right away, this channel is was definitely just trying to call out the falsehood in Christianity. So this was a whole new thing for me. So I appreciate that again.
Yeah, and I know I've said this before, but I absolutely appreciate your consideration of this because, and I'm pretty sure that I told you, I've messaged an innumerable amount of people in your position, which have their own channel, who hold a different belief than what I hold. Um, and the vast majority had basically told me to go F myself. Maybe in a little bit politer way than that,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
still the same thing. Just simply because they're not willing to have a conversation with someone that would disagree with them. I think in part because it could possibly, I don't know, maybe damage their viewership. It might not be exactly what the channel is for, which I respect that completely.
Right.
Um, but yeah, it's a difficult conversation that not everybody is willing to have, and I appreciate your willingness to have it. And no matter what, I even though we are going to disagree, I respect your right to have your opinion, even though I don't think that it's right. But
Right,
it's
right.
yeah.
And same here. I feel the same exact way with you.
Thank you.
So I again thank you for even just being as clear as you can be with how you hold your position and why. I think that and like you said, like you comment on a lot of people's channels and stuff, and
A
maybe
lot.
so this is the thing, a lot of people for their own reasons can probably um make videos discussing these topics but don't want to speak to people in these positions.
Yeah, I think the pushback, which I more than welcome your pushback, because I want to be able to defend my position, but I think the pushback, for lack of a better word, might make them uncomfortable, or I was gonna say scare them, but scare them isn't the right word. It might make them uncomfortable. But
Right.
if you're not willing to be uncomfortable defending your position, then why do you hold your position?
Right. And then this is why I'm completely clear. If I don't have the answer right away, I can't answer it. I'm not going to sit here and act like, "Oh, wait, let me, and it's like no, if I don't have the answer to that, oh, I don't have the source to provide to back that, then I'll just be like, you know what? We're gonna come back to this question another time. But for now, let's move on. You know what I'm saying? This is why I like to focus on certain topics because I'm not gonna put my, I'm a student of the
Mm,
scriptures. I'm a student of my faith. So that doesn't, I don't know anything. And there's a mystery behind a lot of things that I won't know. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm okay with that. I have come to terms. There's things that are supposed to be revealed, and there's certain things that are a mystery. Like that's how I view it. You know what I'm saying? So if I
okay.
don't have an answer, I will say, you know what? Like Cliff says, I do not know.
That's
Straight up.
respectable. That
You
is
know?
very respectable. That is an intellectually honest position to hold.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
Yeah.
So
Um,
is there anything else you wanted to share before we end the live?
yeah. Well, I know that I can see, I mean, I can't read it from the small screen that I'm on because I'm on my phone, but I think that George messaged something, commented something.
Yeah, they've been kind of having their own little debate
Oh,
over.
have they?
I
Well,
haven't been able to read all of it, but I think they're just speaking about like the stance of the Bible and KJV and how now
okay. Well, that doesn't surprise me. My buddy Faithless is my buddy that I told you about.
yeah, yeah,
Um, he, like, I know the Bible well enough to have a good conversation about it. He knows the Bible better than I do, which I have all the respect for in the world right there because it is not the easiest book in the world to, completely study.
right,
I do want to uh, give the positions that I'm going to be arguing from, if
right,
that's cool with you.
right, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so the two positions that I'm going to be arguing from, because I think that we've pretty much decided on, we're going to try to cover four topics. Even though I know that my topics are going to go very hand in hand. is what I find as the inherent contradictory nature of the omnis, which would be the characteristic attributes that are ascribed to God within the Bible, and connected with that within the attributes that he ascribes to humans, within their definition in the Bible. I'm also going to connect that with my side of the moral argument, um, which, like I said, I'm going to bring those together to make one more cohesive argument. So
Great,
yeah,
great.
that those are the main topics that I'm going to focus on, and
Yeah.
I'm obviously more than willing to talk about just about whatever topic that it is associated with the Bible and religion as a whole. But yeah, so those are the main topics that I'm going to be focusing on in our conversation, which we're going to have our conversation on August 6th, right?
Yes, yes. So, Faithless Devotions said, "Don't forget to tell the date of the debate." And thank you
Eh,
for reminding us. So, yes, so we're gonna do April 6th. It's on a Monday. So we're not shooting it live. We're pre-recording it, so this will not be released on the same day, but it will be released that week. So, because we're gonna need time to edit it, and I'm gonna send it to you for like your approval. See if you
uh,
know how you feel about it. Or I can just send
Whatever
you.
is. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I'm
No,
sorry.
no,
I shouldn't have interrupted. I
no.
was just gonna say. I'm just as soon as you send it to me, I'm gonna send it to my buddy, and he's gonna post it pretty much right away on uh his
Oh,
channel and probably our associated channel when that's up and going.
all right. So great. So then we'll do that. We'll record it on the 6th, and then I'll probably need a day or so. I mean, there's not gonna be much editing, but just to make sure that everything is good, like the color and the sound, all that stuff is good, and then
Right.
I'll send it to you. So I would say maybe like Thursday or Friday we would drop it of that week.
Perfect. Sounds good to me.
So yeah, thank you everybody for joining. Thank you, dude, for stopping by.
Yeah,
I look
thank you for
forward to
giving
the
me the
conversation.
opportunity. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I
sure.
really enjoy the back and forth with you. You're super respectful of me, and I hope I give the same the same respect back that you
Absolutely.
deserve.
Absolutely. Listen, if you didn't, we wouldn't be talk we wouldn't talk this often, and we wouldn't be talking this long, because that's one thing that I told myself. I said, getting into apologetics, if people get disrespectful, if because again, I'm not doing this to win a debate. This is not a thing of pride or ego. I'm trying to get my message across, defend my position, ask the questions, and that's it. Um so if it was disrespectful, bro, we wouldn't even be having this long conversation. So
Right.
I want
Yeah,
to
I agree.
thank you for your respect. You know what I'm saying?
You're more than welcome, dude, and thank you as well.
Yeah,
Also,
for sure.
I think like there isn't a winning or a losing in debate because all right, let's say there's 1,000 people that are watching the debate, and you have 300 people on your side to begin with. I have 300 people on my side to begin with,
Right.
and there's 400 people that are on the fence. I'm not going to change your mind. You're not going to change my mind. Most likely, I mean it's plausible, but most likely, and most likely, most of the people on each other's side to begin with aren't going to change their mind. The debate is for the 400 people that are in the middle.
Right.
Yeah. So
Right.
that's
Right.
yeah. Our discussion is. I mean, it's for us for the intellectual conversation, but it's a presentation towards the I don't know, for lack of a better way of putting it, the fence sitters, I guess.
Yes. Yeah, that's exactly who it's for. 100%, because it is for us to break the but exactly. I agree 100%.
All right,
Um
cool.
So yeah, man. Again, thank you. Real quick, George Alexander, he's really wants to know Faith's position, and he keeps calling him Faith, but his name is Faithless Devotion. So I think,
All right.
bro, George, I think his name gives up his position. I
All
think
right.
he's just very well versed because he has read the scriptures. So right, am I right or am I
So
bugging?
I see a question from George saying, "Boss, I asked Broken. He doesn't believe God exists, or he doesn't believe God is good. Both.
But okay, so both. So his stance is both. He's just well versed. He just
Yeah. And I don't think that God is the arbiter of morality as well. Like, there's objective versus subjective morality. I am a proponent of subjective morality.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right, guys. So we're gonna wrap it up. Again, bro, thank you for coming.
Thank
And
you
yeah, we'll
for
talk.
having
We'll
me on.
talk soon. Yeah, man. I still have to send you my questions. It's been a
Sure.
crazy couple days, as you know, because I shared that with you. So I
Hey,
will be
man, you
sending you.
got kids, bro.
Yeah, and a whole bunch of dogs now too.
Oh, there you go.
But yeah, man. All right, man. Well, have a good night. Again, thank you guys for your time, faithless devotions. Maybe, and you know what? Let me just say this. Let me just say this because I like the duo here. Um, I think it'll be interesting after we have ours that maybe we could kind of do like a tag team match. Like I could bring on my cousin, and we could do like all four of us can have like a 2-on-2 debate, on
I'm
our
down for
first.
that.
I think that'll be pretty cool.
Well, I know that me and my buddy Faithless there have discussed with our channel, because our channel is going to have subject matter very similar to this, about having you as a guest on our channel when it's up and running
Yeah,
as
man.
well. And, I'm sure that our debate is going to go very well. So, yeah, if you're open to coming onto our channel, just
Yes.
let us know and we'll make sure that that happens.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. Let's do it. Let's do it. And or a panel discussion like Faithless Devotion says. Yes, we listen, let's just
Yeah,
stay in touch. Um
I'm sure we'll talk again in a day or two.
yeah, for sure. But all right, man. Again, thank you guys for your time.
All right, buddy. You have a good night, dude.
You as well. Thank you.
All right. Talk to you later.